live.
Okay, cool. Glad to see you, man. So this is a first step of Brainwashed by the Pop Culture, where we talk a variety of subjects, but mainly pop culture, movies, music, books as well. We're
We-
intellectual here.
Yeah, we
Uh,
like books. We like to read.
we like books. Yes, you have a
Yeah.
book here. I got a couple books behind me. No, I don't. There are
So
books at the bottom shelf.
my book's kind of morbid.
It's a bucket list idea, I believe.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm Jan Kalina. I'm here currently based in Prague. I'm independent freelance director, playwright, writer, podcast creator. Now,
You are.
I guess I was it before as well, a little bit part-timey. Uh, and yeah, but that's what I do in my free time. That's not what
Mhm.
I do in my as my job, but that's
Right.
besides the point.
You're an
With
importer exporter.
Yes, I'm an importer exporter, Vandalay Industries, Costanza. Um. Anyway, here sitting with me today is.
Wait, can we do that again?
Can we do what again?
Coordinate that perfectly. Pick up your mug. We
Huh?
both drank our coffee at the exact same time. It was awesome. It was like,
Oh, I don't have coffee.
well,
It's
whatever you had.
there's a there's a
Ready?
time there's a
3, 2, 1.
okay. Now I got a pop culture mug as well. Rocket Raccoon.
Ah, well, on brand. On brand.
Get something next time as well. Anyway, who are you?
Yeah. I
Sitting
might
here
add.
with sitting here with me is Thomas Coco, uh, who is a writer, playwright, musician, and actor who hails all the way from New York. Connecticut? No, wait. New York. New York? What city in Connecticut? I don't know. Connecticut. But he's currently in Connecticut now.
I'm in Connecticut right now. Yep. I kind of live like on the Metro North Railway. That's where I live. The train. The train that
Right.
connects Connecticut and New York. That's where I live.
And I
yeah.
know Tom from his short stint as an actor when he was here in Prague. No? You don't like that introduction? I mean, you can change your bio. That's your chance here to interact and tell me, no, Jan, this is
No, I was listening to you. I agree. That's how we met. We met
okay. It was
through
it was
acting.
it wasn't a face of agreement, but okay.
Well, it was a face of consideration. I was considering what you were saying, and then I was interpreting it and making a decision based off of the inputs. I was making an inference, an inference.
Right? Yes, he also was a teacher of English language.
I did
So
do that as well. Yes, briefly. Actually, about a year, and yeah, we met. Kind of in that capacity of theater and whatnot, and then we met at Voodoo, which is a great pub in the Czech Republic.
oh, it's not. Don't listen to him. It's a shoddy bar of weird, shady existences.
in a neighborhood called Zhizkov, which is like, I guess, how would you describe Zhizkov? I don't know. It's
I don't
that
know.
part of.
An actor that I'm working with right now just posted something about Shishkov on Instagram, and it was. I don't think it was flattering. It was. I think I could find it. It was Shishkov. A
Zhizkov is
place, a
a place.
place where you can go, and within 5 minutes you can get stabbed, get an okay beer, and I don't think someone's gonna find an ambulance. So you just bleed out.
On the cobblestones.
Yes, on the
Fair
coast.
enough.
And
Fair
you'll
enough.
be like, "Oh, nice cobblestones! What an architecture in Prague!"
Well, yeah, beautiful, beautiful, classic architecture, Baroque, Rococo, medieval. Greco-Roman, maybe Greco-Roman. It encapsulates all of these architecture.
Greco-Roman. I don't know if in Zhizkov, because that place changed quite a bit during the years. Anyway, so that's why I'm talking to you, because apparently you should know something about pop culture.
I have ideas. I don't know that much. I'm not the best when it comes to dates, times, figures, names, but I have ideas.
That's why I'm
movies.
here. That's why I'm here.
Right. Yes. Precisely.
And one topic of our conversation was the now cult classic movie Office Space from Mike Judge. And we came to that as a topic of discussion that we could use here as well. Because we relate to that movie very much.
It's a great movie.
It's a great movie, yes, but it's sad when you relate to it that much. And you're an office rat as me.
I mean, look, I'll say this: it's relatable in many senses, right? I like my job. I like where I work. I'll say that.
You signed an NDA or something? Why are you saying that?
No, I do. I like where I work, but I'll say that, like, that movie itself has so many points to it that are relatable in kind of like universal ideas of like ennui and not knowing what to do, and then like just anybody could be in that position. If you're in the wrong office.
I myself don't understand how is it relatable 23 years later. You find people who are like, oh, well, this is exactly my work. How is that possible? How can I go to an office and people still have problems with the copy machine, the printer? They don't use copy machines anymore.
Well, I'll tell you why. It's because Initech is an evil corporation.
Huh?
It's because Initech is an evil corporation. That's why.
Yes. It's everything that's soulless and wrong and evil at the word.
There's a way. So I think the reason is because, like, firstly, it's only 20 years ago. And that might sound like a very long period of time. And it is. A lot's changed in 20 years, but it's really 20 years ago. And not that much has changed, from 2000 to 2022 and a lot of cultural aspects of The Office. So I think, like, this is a lesson, actually, right? Because there's a right way to run an office and there's a wrong way. And I'm not saying there's definitely in between. And this movie encapsulates the worst of everyone's fears about working in an office, about showing up in a pair of chinos, a pair of slacks, a basic tie, and like some uncomfortable cotton shirt, going to an office.
I mind that, actually. So in my office space, there isn't order. The coworker I have is, I don't think he ever heard about like beard grooming or anything. Like, you have to take care of your beard, right? No, it's a weird beard, and I think something's living in it. And like, he leaves. He leaves during the day many times. He just like, right, and it's like 40 minutes. He's gone.
Where's he going?
I don't know. I think to see his lovebird or something. Or
oh, okay. Gotcha.
I think she's on the floor above.
Okay, gotcha. Right.
But anyway, still, or he goes to eat. He like comes back that he went to the vending machine and comes back with like a Snickers bar or whatever. And but you cannot be gone 30 minutes. Like, it's just 2 floors, set of stairs, like you.
Maybe he's working a second job, Jan.
Okay.
Okay. I'll say, like,
I'm not saying I'm only doing work activities at work, but now we like started like a new branch that I am cooperating with, which is like my job supposed to be all those months. And there's a lot of work now. So I don't understand when he does work.
So
Okay.
like,
Oh,
yeah, I mean, again, I think that like this movie is a classic because it resonates with people, and timelessly, right? And like it's a lesson, like I said, and right way to do it, wrong way to do it, because you can actually make an office actually not an unenjoyable experience, right? But it doesn't have to be the worst if you humanize it a bit, like. But then you just got that passive aggression, and I think so many people probably relate to like the Lindberghs of the world, like having that experience of somebody sort of, and obviously if you've seen the movie, you understand what I'm talking about. But you're just sitting at your desk, you show up 9:30, you're having your coffee, and you don't want to be bothered when you show up to your desk, right? Like, you want to like take a moment. I need 30 minutes when I arrive at the office to sort of like decompress, have my coffee, listen to a podcast, look at some emails, understand what I'm doing with my day, make my plan. And then Lindbergh just arrives like, yeah, hi. Did you get that memo I sent? Yeah, see, it's just that we're using the new cover sheet on the TPS report. I'll send you another copy. And he's just like, oh no, I got the memo. You don't have to send it. And the guy still sends it. Yep. So it's just kind of that passive aggression that I think, for whatever reason, it's a common management style that some people adopt, and it kind of burns, like, just. But you can't do anything about it, right? You could quit, go to
I
another
mean, I
job.
don't. I don't have a Lumberg type of a boss, luckily.
Hmm.
But I do more than anything relate to the meaninglessness and futility of it.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a it's a data entry bullshit job. Even though, it's a customer service job, like answering some emails. But in the end, I take an order, I set it in the system,
yeah. I
and
mean,
just it's a data entry thing.
absolutely. Let's talk about that, right? Because that's maybe the best part of this movie is the fact, our main character, and remind me here. I've seen this movie like 3 times. I can't remember the protagonist's name right now. Can you remind me real quick?
Ron Livingston is the actor's name, and his Peter Gibbons.
Peter Gibbons. Yes, exactly.
I
How could
mean,
I
I
forget
watched it yesterday.
I watched it like 3 weeks ago. It's on YouTube. By the way, it's free on YouTube. You have to watch it with ads.
Is it
But
free on
yep,
YouTube?
yep, it is. It is.
Legally?
It is
You don't
legally
pay
free
for it?
in the States. It is. I don't know about in Czech, but basically,
Oh, that's something else I want to talk about. Yeah, I'll go on with this.
I know what you're going to talk about, but regardless. So here's the thing, right? So I've been recommending this movie to tons of people, trying to just spread the word of Office Space, because I think it's a must watch. It is 2022's must watch, right? Even though it was made in 1997 or something like that, 1997.
1999.
Okay, so I've been recommending. I had a friend watch it on Friday during the working
Back when
hours.
Jennifer Aniston wasn't Jennifer Aniston.
Watch this movie during the workday. If you work remotely, watch this movie during the workday. That's my recommendation. But
Yeah.
regardless, I had a friend watch it during the workday on Friday, and he watched it on YouTube, and he loved it. He said he learned you learned something from this movie. But let's
I
talk
cannot
about.
access YouTube at my work. It's banned. You cannot access it. It's restricted access.
This is
That's
why
my work.
This is why people need to watch Office Space. That sort of reality, right? Like, I don't have that. My office is like very, like, it's actually good. Like, they're open, they're free, whatever. Like, but that's a problem right there. That's what people need to watch Office Space. But I will say what I think. Like, let's talk about meaninglessness, right? So there's that scene where Peter goes up and it's describing to Jennifer Aniston's character, who again I can't remember her name, like what he does. She's like, "Oh, what do you do?" Well, basically, my job consists of preparing for the Y2K crash. She's like, "What's that?" It's like, well, you see, when the computer first came out, they were too lazy to actually put the 19. So they did like 96, 87. They didn't put 1986. So my job basically consists of scrolling through all this data and adding the 19, the prefix, to all these dates. It's like the most boring job ever, but he's a computer software engineer, essentially. But that's what he's doing. He's fixing that code. It's like, oh, you don't care what I do. So I think that is like the thing that he's showing up. He doesn't care. He's working at this job that doesn't actually benefit society in any way, really, if you think about it. And especially, his job is so removed from the actual core of the banking software that Initech is creating or whatnot, because all he's doing is preparing for the Y2K crash. And it's this echo of like a lot of people feel that they're working a bullshit job. And I mean, that's just a feeling that so many people feel. And there's a great book about that bullshit jobs, which I read like 6 months ago. It's like all these different jobs that actually aren't contributing to the greater good of society, that actually might even not even be contributing to the effect of the work that they're doing or the product that's being shipped at the end of the day. And that's a feeling that can really get to you over time. All you're doing is collecting your paycheck, which you need, which we all need. Society, I'm not knocking paychecks. I want a paycheck. I want a bigger paycheck. But the thing is, I would love sometimes, people would love if that paycheck could be related to some sort of entity that's good or contributory, or maybe they're getting like a positive from it, being outside in nature, etc. So the meaninglessness, I think, is one of the main points of this movie that's just captured so well, so terrifically. That in combination with the passive aggression, just like, all right, Peter, man, we feel for you. You are an everyday hero.
I think what we also discussed before is the term "trained monkeys," which is
it's your term.
It's my term. Okay, well, maybe. I think I think I took it from the Czech language and just like applied it to English, because can't you train a monkey to do this?
Well, basically a lot of jobs are like being on a hamster wheel, right? And yeah, it's rote memorization, practicing. I mean, data entry is like in a tech corporation.
Can you take? And here's the point of what train a monkey is. You train a monkey to do a thing. Can that monkey go from that circus and be like, oh well, I can ride a unicycle on my resume, and I don't know, a bunch of other stuff.
We're gonna have to cut that. I just belched.
Huh? You just
We're gonna have to cut. I just belched by accident.
It's okay.
We'll have to cut that.
I don't know what you're drinking, but that's gonna be the cause of it. But anyway, can you take, as a trained monkey, can you take what you learned and go with that to another job and say, hey, I can do this. I use that software. I can't. The software I use and the experience I gain here is only usable at this job.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that. I mean, again, fortunately, that's not my reality. But I understand it. I think that there are a lot of tasks in the day-to-day of the office worker that don't really require a great deal of intellectual stimulation or curiosity or analysis. A lot of rote tasks that, yeah, you train someone to do it. It's a skill set that in no way benefits them long term, in no way benefits society long term. It's not a skill that can be taken and applied to many other things. And if it is, the skill is very simply sitting your ass in a chair and clicking. That's the skill. We're in a weird place because we want to remove those, but we also want jobs. And I don't want to get into the politics of that, because universal basic income, I didn't say it. That's my philosophy.
Why is that such a controversial topic?
Oh, because the minute I talk about UBI, people scream communism. That's why. And it's not communism. It's not.
I think I'm allowed to say the thought that I want to say right now. But what the European Union is doing right now, where in order to help with everyone's costs caused by the war, inflation, blah blah bitty blah, is tax the rich.
Whoa, what are you talking about, Jan?
No, I'm not talking about that. Whoa. Check what the European Union is doing. So there's going to be like 5%. Is it 5? I think it's 5%. So they're gonna like tax 5% of extra, right? Yeah, extra of the people, whose income is exceeding some number.
Mm.
And isn't that communism? Isn't that what happened in 1947 when they said, "Oh, that's a war tax"?
I don't. No, it's not communism. That's my short answer.
See, so there's just gonna be a black screen here that I never said this, and you just say that power cut off or something.
So like basically, I think like we're at a point where so many of these jobs, and I think everyone should read bullshit jobs. So many of these jobs are just automated. They're ridiculous. They're rote tasks that anyone can do, and it's boring. So people are listening to podcasts. They're listening to music all day long. They're not engaged. They're listening to what the media is that they're
I
consuming.
cannot listen to music at work. I mean,
Oh my
I need
God.
to be present with the hearing. I'm hard of hearing, so
Oh right.
I
Okay.
need to be present with the hearing aids. I don't have that privilege of
Right.
being like, all right, fuck off, you all.
Yeah.
Putting on headphones.
Yeah, gotcha. But it's
Because
not
then I
something that
wouldn't
it's
hear
not
it.
something that the company's making you do. The company would allow you to listen to music if you wanted to.
Yeah, I can do whatever. Everybody's listening to music. So at my work, I have no idea who's working. It's just me and the guy who's like putting the containers that I put in the system on a train schedule, and
Because you're.
and that's just me and that guy.
Oh.
The coworker next to me, I don't know what she's doing because like she comes in every once 2 weeks and she's like on her phone, and that's
Yeah.
it. And that's everybody there.
This is not a unique problem. A
No,
lot of
I'm not
people.
saying it is.
No, no. I mean, no. I'm saying that that's the thing. It's like I'm not. We're not digging on these people, right? Because like, look, I'm sure you have some liberties that you take as well with your job because at the end of the day, you recognize probably like I don't really care about this. I want the money. I don't want to get fired, so I'm going to do it.
No,
There's
I
this.
take a walk. I take a walk like
You
10
take a
minutes.
walk, yeah. You got to take. Look, yeah. See, my philosophy is like I take breaks. I do my job. I try to do it well, but the thing is, at the end of the day, take care of yourself. Like that's my philosophy on it. And I mean, you reminded me of a scene where you were like talking about like I should listen to music. There's that scene where what's that one guy's name? He's like, "Oh, I was told between the hours of 10 and 12 I could listen to my radio."
Okay, I have a coworker like that who has a radio on.
Yeah, because
Just because he can. He can.
yeah, but because it was because the other person because she's like Sherry or something is listening to, always listens to her podcast. So I was told between the hours of 10 and 12 I could listen to my radio. Uh, it's like no, I don't want to turn it down. But like, where am I going with this? Is basically, I think that all those little things people are doing, Jan, are a mechanism of taking back a little bit of like authority over one's life. All those little things, like taking the
But
long walk,
why? If I have a job, I want to do the job that I have been given, that I have been tasked with.
right?
I don't
But
want
you,
to like fight the job. Why am I fighting a job?
why are you why are you fighting the job? Well,
Yeah.
why does Peter Gibbons fight the job, right? That's the question we have to ask, right? I mean, there's clearly a resentment internalized within him. Everything sort of adds up. He's dealing with the passive aggressive boss. He's dealing with the meaninglessness. He feels like he's stuck. He doesn't get paid enough money. He literally is putting in 2 digits onto a spreadsheet to prepare for Y2K crash. So
Which never happened.
which never happens. But he cares before he gets hypnotized. He cares, right? So he's doing the job, the bare minimum. Some people call this quiet quitting, right? Right. So that's a ridiculous term now that you see on like LinkedIn or whatever, people talking about quiet quitting. But it's like a built-up resentment over time. And the passive aggression is kind of like he doesn't care anymore because why should he? He's not treated fairly. And he's got great ideas. So then he gets hypnotized. And that's when he stops caring. So like the mechanism, like maybe what we're seeing with your colleagues or in general with other people is like they're at a point where they've dealt with so much of this bullshit that they will take their long walk. They will eat their sandwich. They will disappear for 4 hours at a time because it's their way to stab back at like the bullshit of their jobs. And
But the guy I mentioned, he's there even less time than I am. Like he started after me.
He's not getting fired though, is he?
No, nobody ever told him anything
So
because he can do whatever he wants. Freedom.
maybe, well, maybe maybe he doesn't care. Maybe he's taking his paycheck, and then if they fire him, he's like, he goes and does this at another company. And like, yeah, maybe that's a problem. I don't know what his job is. Maybe it's a really important job. But there's this is about bullshit jobs too, because like this is why I'm bringing this book and why it's connected to Office Space. There was a guy in Spain who was working for the government. His job was so meaningless, didn't have anything to do with anything, that he literally stopped showing up to work for 30 years and was studying Bertrand Russell. Like became an expert in the philosophy of Bertrand Russell for 30 years. Never showed up to work. Eventually, they found out.
I heard about this. Yeah.
Like, I don't know what his job is. Some people have very important jobs. People would probably realize if I didn't show up to work or whatever, or if I was leaving all the time. But good for him, man. If the job that he's doing is really that unimportant in his mind, all right.
But then
Fine.
you deserve. But then from capitalist point of view, you deserve to be fired.
Oh yeah, and there's someone else who would be willing to do the job, etc. Yeah, that's a capitalist point of view, sure. Of course, that's the mentality that people would have. But the thing is, he doesn't have a choice. He needs to work. He needs food. So, like that's just his reality.
And that's why I'm surprised with Office Space in 1999. It's such an anti-capitalist and anti-conformist movie. Like the ideas that it spreads.
Yeah,
I find that very intriguing, and given where America was and at the end of 90s, it was peak capitalism. Like it was capitalism which worked.
Yeah, it was basically a point in time where demographics were such that you had the same number of people who were consuming, had capital rich, investment rich, so older generation, people in their 50s and 60s, the same number of people in their 20s, and people in their 20s always own spending, so they kind of drive the market. And there was the same between capital rich and consumer rich. We don't have that right now. And it was a great time. Yeah, a great time for capitalism, for sure.
And I'm surprised that movie even exists at that point in time.
I see your point. Yeah, I mean, it really is not it's anti-capitalist in a sense, but it's not, because like it's more so anti-corporatist and like just the bullshit that you see companies pull, and so it is anti-capitalist in a sense, but its philosophy is not so much capital is a bad thing and there should be private enterprise, etc. It's more like this ain't the way to do it. Let's reorganize the way that like not let's figure out how to make the culture of the office more suitable, and like maybe tailor our work to our passion more, or tailor our work to what we like more. And it's just a hard thing to do, because even today you can't do it. I mean, we have our passions, right? Then we have our jobs because we need to eat. So it's a tricky thing to be in. And if you don't, people want 175% of you for something you don't care about. That's what we have right now, at least in the States. And
175.
So I say at least in the States because I can really only speak to the culture here in New York. What I realize the culture here in New York is some people don't care about their jobs. They don't give a fuck about it, right? But they're expected to give 175% of themselves to something that they don't give a shit about, because they have other things. They want to play guitar, they want to listen to music, they want to play Dungeons and Dragons with their friends, go to the park, walk their dog. I don't know. Who knows what they do, right? So then they're expected to give 175% of themselves to their job for something they don't give a fuck about. And why is that the reality? Why do we have this culture in the States of give all of yourself to something you don't give a shit about? And you burn out, or you build up resentments over it. And if you're not willing to give all of yourself to it, you get fired. You get left in the dust. This is capitalism today. And I think Office Space was ahead of its time in that sense. Because you know what? It's this movie that says, fuck you. I'm not going to put up with this shit. Fuck you. And basically,
it's a quiet fuck you. It's a quiet fuck you.
It's a quiet. He quiet quits. He's a quiet quitter. He's like, "Are you gonna quit?" Nah, I'm not gonna quit. I'm just not gonna go anymore. I think I'm just gonna stop going. It's brilliant.
Um,
It's a brilliant movie. It really is. People should watch it. If you find yourself resonating more with the company, with Initech, with the Bobs that come in and start to literally fire the fat, you know,
Bob's.
increase efficiency with Lumberg, then you're the problem. If you're resonating with them, if you say that Peter Gibbons is in the wrong, then you're the problem.
I don't think I ever heard anyone say that. I think it's not, that enticing as a movie. If you read just a synopsis, you can go, well, he gets hypnotized, doesn't go to work or whatever. It doesn't sound like an interesting movie. That's how I viewed it years back. Like in Czech Republic, it's not translated as Office Space. It doesn't have an Office Space title. There's no office in the title. It's called Troubles of Mr. Smarty. I don't really know how to translate it back to English. Something like that.
Interesting.
Which is dumb title. And like the main selling point whenever I saw it on a TV guide was like, oh, Jennifer Aniston is in this. And they even wrote it like this, like her name was first. She's 10 minutes in the movie.
Yeah, she's not a main character in it. No.
But yeah, she was the reason why the movie got money because
No, I mean
she has a
she's got.
second
I
billing.
mean, she has. I mean, like, look, she's not the main character, but she has some important role in it too. Some very like leading
Not say,
aspects
not
to it. No, I'll say
not
like
not saying anything different.
Oh yeah, no, I know you're not, but I just want to point this out as well. That's an interesting side plot. Is kind of her experience as well in a different setting with the flare and everything, right? So that's her.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's Mike Judge. It's himself as the main manager of Tchotchkes.
she goes up. You know who else made people wear flare? The Nazis. Oh, that's brilliant.
But Office Space is a victim of just people not knowing how to sell a movie, and I don't know how to sell that movie myself. Like I thought about it. I don't know how to, how to like cut a trailer or write a synopsis for this and sell it to people for what it is.
It's hard to get people to do it, especially in the '90s, because people hear that synopsis and they're like, "Oh, people don't want to work. People are lazy. They don't want to work," and that's how someone might interpret that movie. And then even today, you take somebody who's just like really in it, the grind of life, the grind of the work, right? They don't think about other things, and then they kind of just don't want to watch that movie. You get them to same thing. People, there's that resentment. I don't know what happens to a person, but eventually, when you give up all your passions, all your dreams, and you join the 9 to 5 culture, you can get to this point where you resent it so much that you also resent other people who don't do that or who don't want to do that. And that's dangerous too. So we have to basically straddle it. Like, the reality is we're going to work the jobs that we work for a long time, maybe forever, maybe different jobs, but maybe we'll never be able to work as actors or writers or comedians or whatever, the things that we want. We can always do those things. So we have to figure out a way to basically balance and take back control a little bit in our lives. We show up, we do some good. We want to provide an input of good, working with the people that you work with. We can really make a difference at work. But with balance, with keeping it in mind that this ain't the real thing, this is just a fucking job.
Have you heard of a subreddit called Anti-Work?
You've mentioned it to me before.
It did?
I think so.
Yeah,
we've had a lot of talks. So
I think that's bad that I mentioned it before, but okay. Anyway, that's this. Fighting 9 to 5 culture and abusive workplaces and so on, and it goes a little further beyond that as well, like with the mindset that's there with of the people. And my thinking here is, and even what you're saying it very indirectly. You're inferring it. Are you inferring it?
I'm implying it.
I don't think you're implying it because you don't know that you're implying it. So You know, are you?
What
How
am I
can you
saying?
imply? How
Well,
can you imply?
what am I saying? I want to know what I'm saying first. You have to tell me
How
what
can you imply something when you don't know that you're implying it?
tell me what I'm saying first. That's what I want to hear what I'm saying.
Okay, maybe there's a time for a new ism. So capitalism is done. It's nice for a few years. You know, the Gordon Geckos of the world and Bill Lundbergs. They had their time
Hmm.
in the
Yeah,
sun.
that's
And
what I'm saying. That's what
so
I'm saying.
a new ism.
I'm saying that. Yes, I'm saying that.
Okay, good. So you were implying it.
Let's find something out. Let's do. They have these corporations. Yeah, let's figure something out. The
So like
capital.
some Mike Judgeism, work balanceism,
Yeah, it's not
something.
communism. It's not. It's just not. This mentality. I want to secure the bag. I want to secure the bag and just gain a lot of capital and get super, super, super rich. That everyone's on that way of thinking, and I don't blame them because I'm on that to a certain extent too. This is fucking tough, and people are scared and they don't want to work their whole lives, and so they want to get their bag so they can retire and go to their log cabins and go to their dacha and go to their whatever and
What cabins?
I don't fucking know, man. Go canoeing, take a canoe trip, whatever people do, axe throwing, whatnot. Right? People want to do their shit, drink their IPAs and craft beers. I don't blame them. They want to secure the bag, but like the thing is, why do we all have to do that? Why does that have to be this selfish enterprise of secure the bag?
Why can't I just, like, you pay to live?
Sorry.
You pay to live. You pay to just occupy a space, like rent.
Yeah, you pay to live, of course.
What twisted mind came up with that?
I don't know, man.
And so on and
Adam
so on. You
Smith.
can go on and
Adam
go
Smith.
on.
You can go on and on. We're not economists, right? But like, or at
Adam
least I'm
Smith.
not. I don't know. Maybe you're an economist, but basically the point
That's
is
what I'm
like,
saying.
yeah,
Capitalism at its core, cool. Yeah.
fine, sure.
But now, when you take just the core of it and you have people at control now who are just obsessed with that, with the numbers and money and statistics and
Yeah,
whatever,
it
then
gets
it
so
goes sideways.
convoluted, and especially if you go into like the financial spaces where numbers just become numbers, and it's so removed from actual society. Stocks and equity and all that stuff, and it's people get so into it, like it's like a game.
How can someone own billions? And there's not just one person who owns billions. There's several people in the world
So
who are billionaires.
it's
How is
interesting.
that possible?
It's very interesting, and we have to remember, and then I think we should move to Nick Cage at some point. But let's remember that all of this, right? So we're just kind of spitballing here, but there is another ism, and Office Space kind of is giving us this. It's like, okay, they're going to take that stab against this, but we're seeing that the owner of Patagonia gave up his company, turned it over to a trust to do good for society, right? So that's
Yeah,
one way.
I've seen something like that
Right.
about it.
Then there's cooperative companies in Spain that are actually building projects, but they're owned by like thousands of different people. So it doesn't, like, if you have a company, why can't that just be the reality? Like Web3 decentralization. I'm not a crypto buff, but like that's the whole concept, right? To give ownership to a bunch of different people. If we're all invested in the success of something together, like we're invested in the success of a country or a company, then maybe that's a little bit different. If people worked 3 hours a day together, everyone worked 3 hours a day to create an end or product or something, and then whatever, that could be more beneficial. Again, I don't know. Again, I might sound like a communist right now.
That's the point. We don't know.
I'm not a communist. Right, exactly.
No.
So
Education. You can have another
right,
problem here. That
there should be.
education is, we are conditioned on purpose to not know.
We this is not like we're just born into this, and we're told when we're 18 go to college, and we're told when we're 22 get a job, and then that's it for time until you're 60. No one is thinking about the alternative, or there are people who are thinking about the alternative, but they're not giving voice. It's not our job to figure this out. Maybe it should be. Maybe it should be other people's jobs. But like the people at the top are the ones who are perpetuating this. The politicians. The politicians. and the corporations.
This has turned into something that we didn't plan into. You
Fair
know,
enough. Fair enough. Fair
let's
enough.
go. Let's go back. Let's end on this very nice note. Let's get rid of politicians and senates, and we move on to uh, another staple of pop culture that is one of the many Coppolas in the business, Nicolas Cage.
That's
He
right.
is the man who is responsible for Johnny Depp getting into the business. Let's put that on Nicolas Cage's
I lost
gravestone.
my hair. I lost my wife. Johnny's got his hair. Johnny's got his wife. What do I
The latest news about Nicolas Cage is that he has welcomed, if I'm not mistaken, a baby daughter. I think it's last week. So, congratulations, Nick, if you ever watch this, or if somebody watches this from, your environment.
Congrats,
We love
Nick.
you, Nick.
We love
And, congratulations.
Congrats, Nick. You're the man. We love
You
you.
are the man,
I could watch your movies endlessly. Um,
But yeah, Nicolas Cage is here with a bit of a comeback this year, isn't he?
yeah, I think
It's the Cage's sense. When they hit the Mc, McKenny sense. They always use the Renaissance and they match it
reconnaissance.
together with
Yeah,
someone.
yeah. The
So
reconnaissance. Yeah,
Cage's sense,
Cage's
I don't
sense. Yeah.
know. And
Yeah,
he had, I think, one of the best comedies I've seen in a couple of years. Yeah, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
great movie.
Such a great movie, and like if you watch it, if anyone who's watching this, stop watching this
No,
and
definitely an
go
84.5% definitely on Rotten Tomatoes. That's
and
what I would.
go watch Unbearable Weight of
Oh,
Massive
what's
Talent.
your guess? What's your guess on Rotten Tomatoes? My guess is 84.5%.
Of what?
Rotten Tomatoes score. I'm gonna guess 84.5%.
I don't really go on Rotten Tomatoes, but that sounds about right. Yeah, I would think
I'm gonna look it up.
it kept like 75 because on IMDb it still has 7.0, which is great for a comedy.
Yeah, no, that's actually high. Um,
I don't know any other comedy that has like a 7th and above rating, and the other one that comes to mind is Office Space, that has 7.7 on IMDb.
dude, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talents right now has an 86% score on the Tomato meter, and 87% score on audience score. Man, I was wrong. It's actually higher, which is crazy. That's really
Well,
good.
I know that critics liked it back in April. Was it April? I think so. Um, but I wasn't sure they liked it this much. Yeah. Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is a movie where Nicolas Cage is playing a character, Nicolas Cage, also an actor who has been kind of, in the shadows, not cast in big movies anymore. And he receives an offer from his agent to go to an island of some millionaire and spend a weekend with him. That's the basic premise.
And who plays that millionaire?
Pedro Pascal.
Right. Who does great, by the way, in that movie. And Pedro Pascal is, by the way,
Oh, right. He's another corporate culture office space movie. Blood sucking bastards.
that's right. That's right.
Oh, okay. I had no idea that we actually made like a link in this. And okay.
I didn't realize either. I think it was kind of innate. It kind of
So
happened.
Blood Sucking Bastards is a movie that you recommended to me. I had no
Mhm.
idea about that movie, which is rare that I don't know about a movie. French Cans is in that movie. as the main character, and he joins. No, wait, he is already in that office space. He's kind of like a staple in there, and he expects a promotion,
Hmm.
and he
Yep.
doesn't get that promotion.
No.
An outsider from somewhere else is brought in, who happens to be his ex,
College roommate.
yeah, ex college roommate. That's nice way to put it. They were friends, and that's Pedro Pascal. And as it turns out, a bit later on, he is a vampire. And he's turning everyone in the office into vampires.
So they can do their more
And
jobs more effectively.
yes, they can do their jobs more effectively. You don't have to use as much lighting, right? The
That's right.
company saves money. They're just focused on their jobs.
Hmm.
It's great. Vampires.
He's streamlining processes. He's cutting efficiencies, increasing productivity, decreasing time to market.
It's a
It
great
is
film.
KPIs are on fire. All right, they're on fire. Everybody's making money. No one's thinking about anything. They don't care. They're just out for blood. It's great. Blood sucking bastards.
Anyway, Pedro Pascal, Mandalorian, Kingsman, Golden Circle, a bunch of great films. Well, no, Golden Circle isn't a great film. I misspoke. But
It's okay.
it's okay. But yeah, I'm not a fan of Pedro Pascal. I became a fan, I think, only through Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I didn't like him until now. I like him a lot. He's great. He knows what he's doing. You know, exactly. The original idea was that like Nicolas Cage didn't want to do the movie. He wanted to do. He wanted to play Pedro's character. So Pedro's character is like a super massive fan of Nicolas Cage work and catalog. That's why he invites him onto the island. Among other things, he wants to write a script, and he would produce it, and he would star in it along with Nick.
And by the way, Pedro Pascal plays the fanboy so well. You wouldn't necessarily think that that would be his thing if you see some of his other movies.
Oh
But
no, he's great at comedy. I want him to do more comedy like this.
I mean the kind of like sucking up that he was like that. It was kind of like he often plays this sort of more commanding figure,
Mm-hmm.
and in this he's almost he's just hysterical because of like his neediness. He's like a powerful guy, but he's got this like this sort of infatuation with Nick Cage that's just absolutely stunning, and they become best friends because they like all
And
the same
his and
things.
his and his list of films that he loves, which is Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, which is Nick Cage's favorite film as well, and Paddington 2.
Paddington 2, great film.
No, Paddington 2 is really a masterpiece. It's not. It's not judging anything. Check Rotten Tomatoes how high that film is. It used to have 100% for like 3 years in a row
I
until like some critic just like wrote a bad review just on purpose.
I cried from Paddington.
Did you really, or just
No, I cried. Paddington made me cry.
okay? Have you seen Paddington before watching Paddington 2, or
I watched Paddington 2 on the airplane.
what a shame? How can you watch such a film on a plane?
I've seen a lot of movies on airplanes that I
I
should have.
only watched on airplane Tomorrowland and Inside Out.
Inside out,
Inside Out
oh,
was
turn me
okay.
upside
Tomorrowland
down.
was awful. But anyway, Nick Cage.
Nah, nah.
Let's go
Like,
back to him. The most unlikeliest of action heroes.
he's a fantastic action hero.
He is, but like, the first time he was cast as an action hero, you wouldn't expect it.
He
Like,
got
it was weird.
he got
In
jacked
fact,
for Con Air. He
like,
got jacked for Con Air.
yes, but that's not why you watch Nick Cage to get jacked.
I mean, that's part of the reason that I watched Nick Cage. I had to
Okay.
admire the fact that his
Okay.
body was just like ripped.
Okay. Okay.
No, I'm saying because that's like in a movie like Con Air, that's the thing, right? You take an action star, they need to. That's
But
the thing about
he
action movies. It's not just acting; it's also a physical exercise. It's a physical process. And so, yes, you look at Nick Cage, you wouldn't say, "All right, maybe he's not the most," I wouldn't because he was in like other movies that you wouldn't peg him to be an action hero. But like yeah, I mean, he did all that he very well, and he filled out the shoes of an action hero perfectly.
I mean, he won an Oscar for leaving Las Vegas, and I think it's the year after that he joined The Rock Face Off, which is Face Off is first, no? Fuck. Anyway, like Face Off is such a weird film. It's you watch Nick Cage, he's the villain, and Toyota is the leading man, and then they switch, and at the end, I forgot that. Just like upon rewatch, like 2 weeks back, they switch back again at the end. So Toyota is Toyota again, and it has a happy ending. I forgot it has a happy ending,
Hmm.
but it
I haven't.
shouldn't work. You have to trick the audience so many times. You tell them, oh, now you root for the bad guy who just has a different face and so on.
So if I'm,
I'm
I actually haven't seen Face Off before.
You haven't seen Face Off,
No.
a film where in one scene Nicolas Cage is caging it up, and Travolta is playing the Nicolas Cage character, and he's caging it up as well. It's madness.
I gotta watch it.
It's absolute
Definitely will.
madness, and it's John Woo, the director, at his best. He stuffs white deaths into scenes which sometimes make no sense. But I think in Face Off, it makes complete perfect sense because he stuffs them into a church.
So
So yeah,
let's talk.
why not
Let's
white deaths in church? So you were a Con Air man.
Connor top five. Let's do top five. All right.
Top 5 of Nicolas Cage.
Okay. I don't even know if I can.
Wild at Heart.
Okay.
Have you seen Wild at Heart? I
No.
don't think you're a David Lynch man, are you?
I liked Twin Peaks.
Okay. I would definitely go Wild at Heart. Face Off for sure. Hmm. I think Kick-Ass. He's
What?
not Kick-Ass. He's not the main character in it, but he's absolutely perfect in it as this, Batman-inspired vigilante, along with his daughter that he trains in the movie.
Hmm.
Um, I think I'm just gonna go with like the action films, The Rock. I think that's the first film I seen with Nicolas Cage when I was a kid, and I would go with Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent as 5. Did I say 5?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is just
It's a great movie.
it's a smart film that doesn't overdo its meta premise. Doesn't lean that much into it. It's there. It sometimes pops back in, and sometimes it's just like well, it's just a normal movie that you can watch without knowing, you know, uh, that much about Nicolas Cage or
It's
his movies.
I love movies that spice in repetition of lines. It's one of the things that I love about the Big Lebowski is the plot continues to unfold on itself and repeat itself. And
Edgar Wright is your man then, because all his characters repeat the lines throughout in every of his film. Hot
so
Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to get the Simon Pegg movies. I actually was talking about rewatching those with some friends the other day, and The line I love in Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is, "We're back, baby. Not that we were ever gone.
Not that we ever went anywhere.
Not that we ever went anywhere." It's great. It's brilliant.
Yes, it's a line you can use in your own life as well. If you're like feeling down or you messed up. I'm back. Not that I went anywhere.
And he says it to the agent. The agent says it to him. He says it to the hallucination that he has of himself, or whatever that is. The character, that the leather jacket, whatever.
So So that character is based not on any other Nicolas Cage movie character. It's based on a character. It's based on Nicolas Cage and his performance he did, and he went on an interview at BBC. Vogan was the host, and he just like storms in, like strips himself, and starts throwing money at the audience. That's the Nick Cage that like he sees himself as like the best batshit bonkers version he can be, that he should aspire to be in the movie.
Oh, that's great. So
I think I cut you off there, so we'll have to
no,
get back
I
to
was
your point.
saying I think we should probably start to think about wrapping up at this point.
Definitely, I mean, I get twilight here unless I turn on the lights.
Yeah, we're hitting an hour, and I think it's a good amount of time. And I'm going hiking. So
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Where are you going? Can you recommend us a hiking trip in Connecticut?
It's up in Hamden, Connecticut. I don't know the name of the mountain off the top of my head. My friend said the name. I can't remember that. Little Spoon or something like that. Spoon
Little
Mountain,
Spoon?
Sugar Mountain. I don't know. Something like that.
Sugar Mountain.
Anyway.
All right. I think that's it for us now. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you'll be here next time as well.
It was a successful first one, and we have to come up with a new plot for the next one. And if we take anything from this, we say,
I think
watch
we already
Office.
had one, but then we lost it during another Skype call. I had one, but I forgot it.
That's okay.
But anyway, pop culture. There's a tons of stuff we can talk about.
So the real one, and if you take it, watch Office Space, watch The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Wild at Heart.
Wild at Heart. And, hang on there, man.
Right, yes. Fight the corporate culture.
That's right.
Just burn the building down.
Don't do that.
Just as Milton did. Milton did.
No, don't do that. Don't steal money. Don't burn the building down. Just realize, you're good. Don't mean shit.
Okay, just realize there are different ways to do it, and maybe present them to your superiors.
Speak up. Advocate for yourself. If something's bullshit, tell them. If you're working a job that you really feel doesn't add anything, keep doing it, but then maybe look for another job. Screw them.
Or as Homer Simpson says, you do it half-assedly. You do it half-assed way.
Yeah. Do it half-assed and then get moonlight at night.
That's the American way.
That's the American way. Bide your time 9 to 5 and then write yourself a book or a killer song at night. And when you show up to the office and Lumber gives you some passive aggressive bullshit, you said, "Fuck you, man. I'm writing a book."
All right. See you soon, Tom.
See you soon, yeah.
This has been Brainwashed by the Pop Culture.
Love it.